Hi. So I'm gonna read you the second chapter of The Plucker. And that's the Red Knight, at least I think that's his name. And I promised Andrew that I'd read it specially to him. So, Andrew, this is for you. And I wish we would see each other more, but we don't, because we're both shut-ins. So, hope you enjoyed, Andrew. This is chapter 2. Moonlight bathed the room. Thomas slept and the toys came out to play. They danced, sang, and tussled in the magical realm of make-believe, neither seen nor heard by grown-ups. But Jack heard them. He tapped the box and the lid popped open. Before him buzzed a beehive of high-spirited playthings, each taking on the role of the personality given to it by Thomas. For it was the boys' love and imagination that brought them to life, and the lack of it that caused them to fade back into the lifeless stuff from which they were made. Toys pogoed, leapfrogged, cartwheeled, and tumbled. Some played tag, hide-and-seek, ring around the rosy, and all other manners of mischief. The entire room of toys was having fun. Jack wasn't having fun. No, thought Jack, there is nothing fun about being forgotten. A bugle blew, and the toys stopped playing. They all looked up to the shelves. A tall, red knight with a black cross upon his chest, with a long sword on his side, strolled to the ledge. On his arm, like a trophy, clung an angel dressed in radiant white and adorned with glittering snowflakes. The red knight gazed down upon them, his face set and impassive. The snow angel's eyes seemed far away, her expression distant. These were Thomas's finest pieces, each with its own ornate case of gilded glass, brought home by his father all the way from Belgium. The Red Knight and the Snow Angel slipped down from the shelf and strolled, arm in arm, around the room. The knight occasionally nodded at an adorning toy. What makes him so damn special? Jack wondered. He regarded the Snow Angel with her tiny white wings folded primly against her back, her chin up and eyes forward. She's such a mystery, Jack thought. He recalled when Thomas's mother had wound up the elaborate music box built into the Snow Angel's case, how the Snow Angel had sung, so light, so beautiful. Yet he had not heard her sing, or even say so much as a word to anyone since that night. Just stays up in her case until the hoity-toityness decides to take her out for a stroll. She's an odd one. As the royal pair promenaded past, the toys would stop what they were doing and nod respectfully, or curtsy. Some even saluted. The toys had come from all over the world, from every port in which Thomas's father set anchor. Jack could see sumo, panda, and troll wrestling. Toady was picking his banjo, while Rico, the day of the dead skeleton, danced a jig. A stunning white Arabian steed pranced by with Juno the juggler following on his unicycle. Wiki, the hula-hula girl, was singing and shaking her coconuts, filling the room with alohas and happy island songs, while Tiki God, with his wild, ferocious teeth, followed her around like a puppy. They're having a grand old time out there, Jack thought, and I get to sit in the dark and make popping sounds with Humpty Dumpty. He began flicking one of his hat bells, listening to its familiar jingle. It was supposed to be a happy sound. It's not fair, he whispered. I shouldn't have to stay under here just because Thomas doesn't want to play, especially since there are plenty of toys out there who do. Jack pushed aside the hem of the blanket and walked boldly out into the room. A burst of laughter caught his attention. He spotted Ziggy, the sad-faced clown, his oldest and dearest friend, goofing around with the delight of a small crowd. Jack smiled. Good old Ziggy. Jack passed by Toady, who was plucking away on his banjo. Hi, Jack waved. Toady's eyes bulged wider than usual. The toad fumbled a few more chords before he stopped altogether. Rico continued dancing, but a moment later looked up at Toady. Hey, why'd you stop, Fatso? Then Rico noticed Jack and quickly looked away. Jack's hand fell. He started to say more, then decided to keep walking. He not liked what he saw in their eyes. Cautiously, Jack slipped among the toys, crowded around Ziggy. All he wanted was to blend in, to be one of them, like before. And the good fairy granted the dung beetles 3 wishes. First was a manure ball the size of... Ziggy stopped. The toys followed his wide eyes around to Jack, except for Wally the Wombat, who was half blind anyway. "Aye, mate," barked Wally. "What were dem 3 wishes?" "The good fairy," resumed Ziggy half-heartedly, "granted the dung beetle 3... The toys tried not to be obvious. They looked every way but toward Jack as they slipped away in 1s and 2s. Not Jeanie, though, who upon turning bumped into Jack. Jeanie recoiled in horror, as if he touched a leper. He all but fell over himself in his haste to scramble away. Even Wally caught on and waddled off as fast as his short legs would carry him. Only Jack and Ziggy remained. "Jack," Ziggy said, his voice jumpy. "Hey, it's nice seeing you again." He began to shuffle away. "Ziggy," Jack said, "I thought we were friends." "We are! But Jack, but... Ziggy's eyes seemed to beg Jack to let him be. "Jack, you know how it is. I can't..." A stern voice addressed Jack. "What do ye think ye be doin'?" Jack looked up into the grim face of the Red Knight. The knight pushed his bulk between Jack and Ziggy. I'm just... Jack's face heated up. "None of your damn business," he said, hating the quiver in his own voice. The knight grabbed Jack, his fingers bit into his arm. Jack struggled, but the knight held him fast. He yanked Jack around to face the room. "Look at what ye done. Ye spoiled everyone's evening. Just look, will ye?" Jack looked. The toys had stopped playing. They all stood around in small, silent clusters. None of them would even meet his eyes. Jack started to tell the knight a thing or two. Started to tell him all a thing or two, but felt the sting coming tears. All of a sudden he wanted to be back in his box. He wanted to shut the lid and never come out again. The knight leaned over and whispered to Jack, "Go back to where ye belong." He shoved Jack towards the bed. Jack stumbled and fell. And someone just texted me. Jack pulled himself to his feet and wiped the dust from his vest. He wanted to run, wanted to cry, but he wouldn't cry. Not in front of them. He walked with his head up, looking at each toy until he reached the blanket. He lifted it and ducked back into the underbed, back into the dust and darkness. Jack laid, curled in a ball, at the bottom of his box, trying to make himself as small as possible. "You can't blame him," came the tired, muffled voice of the Nutcracker from outside the box. Jack thought he'd blame whoever the hell he wanted. It's not you. It's what you represent. Truth. What they're all most afraid of. Every toy wants to believe they're Thomas's special one. There's no moldy box in the attic waiting for them. Or that there's no moldy box in the attic waiting for them. They want to stay in denial, but it's hard to deny what's standing right in front of you. Jack didn't really give a crap about any truths, and he especially didn't care about that stupid kid anymore. No, not at all. But as he drifted towards sleep, he whispered, "Thomas, don't forget me. Please don't forget me." Jack awoke. What is that, singing? Jack popped the lid open. It was still dark. Must be near dawn, he thought. All was quiet. Even the toys had gone to sleep. A light song, almost a whisper, floated up from behind his box. Jack peered over and he couldn't believe his eyes. The Snow Angel. She leaned against his box, hands clasped over her knees, eyes closed, singing softly to herself. Jack dared not breathe, lest he break the spell. Only when she finished did he speak. That was sure pretty. Startled, she jumped to her feet. "Oh, beg your pardon," she said in a hushed voice. "I did not mean to bother anyone." She started to leave. She'd actually looked him in the eye, Jack realized, had talked to him like a real toy. "Wait, I'd like to hear more." "Oh, don't be silly," she said, but her face brightened. I didn't think you liked to sing." "I would sing all day if it weren't for Sir Pompous Pants." "You mean the Red Knight?" Jack was dumbfounded. "Who else?" she said bitterly. "I thought you were his consort." She grabbed her stomach, stuck out her tongue, and made a puking sound. "Oh, don't make me vomit." "He won't let you sing." What? That unbearable brute with all of his edicts and protocols? Don't ye do that. Don't ye do this. I can't so much pick my nose without his consent. He all but wets his fancy breeches if I say how do you do to anyone. How many times have I heard, don't ye be consorting with those common toys? That's why I come down here. It's the one little place I can find some peace. The one place where I can be myself and sing my songs. The only place he never thinks to look. She became quiet, her face suddenly sad, lost, and lonely. He can be so cruel. Jack wanted to put his arm around her to comfort her, but he was unsure if she would want him, an underbed toy, to touch her. She put on a small smile. My name is Angel. Jack hopped down, pulled off his hat with an extravagant sweep of his arm, bowed until his nose touched the floor. Jack, at your service. I will have none of that nonsense. She giggled and clasped both of his hands in hers. She pulled him close and peered deep into his eyes. Her face was radiant and full of mischief. Jack, do you want to be my secret friend? Jack nodded eagerly. He would have agreed to be her any kind of friend just then. Would have even agreed to be her footstool if she asked. Want to see a trick? He said. Want to see me stand on my hands? Sure. Jack placed his hands under his feet. See, I'm standing on my hands. Oh, that's bad. She couldn't hide her smile. Betcha I can stick my tongue and touch my eyebrow. He challenged. She eyed him skeptically. Okay, betcha. Jack stuck out his tongue, placed one finger on his eyebrow, and see. I ong is unum ochem my eyebrow. Angel actually snickered. Hey, what color is Mars? He asked with his face devilish. Red, she ventured. Good. And Uranus? She knuckled him in the arm. I'm not falling for that, bozo. Bozo? Who are you calling bozo? Bozo's a clown name. I'm a jester. He said indignantly. You're a goof, she said, but she was smiling. And Jack realized he was smiling, too. Because that's what jesters do. They make people smile, grin, and laugh. And for the first time since being shoved under the bed, he felt like himself. Angel pulled him down behind his box. Do you have any more? Jack did. Had lots more. He told jokes and riddles one after another until Angel had to clasp her hand over her mouth to keep from laughing out loud. He performed magic tricks and silly stunts, and Angel sang her songs until the first hints of morning washed the room in warm grays. And Jack forgot about out there. Forgot about being anywhere but right next to Angel. A rooster crowed in the distance, and Angel jumped to her feet. Oh no, I've stayed too long. She didn't look worried. She looked frightened. I have to go, Jack. I'll come tomorrow night, if I can. And that was chapter 2. Oh, wait, let me show you the pictures. Ooh, 3. We got some action in number 3. See? See, Andrew? That's Angel. And that's Jack all sad. Oh. Kind of like how I feel. And those are the out there toys. Well, that was chapter 2. I'll read chapter 3 tomorrow. On Christmas Eve, after Hanukkah. So, I hope everyone enjoyed it, especially Andrew. And Andrew, talk to me, because I miss your face.